Okay, for question 26, it's not really a hard question, but the wording for some of the answers is not as clear as you would like. So let's go through this together and try to make sense of it. First thing I did here is I drew the guy because we're talking about the angle from this perspective. So that's my O, that's my H, and the leftover is my A. And then we go through it and see whether or not these make sense. The first one says the diameter is opposite to angle O. That's the O, and that's not the diameter of the circle. This is the diameter of the circle. So that's not right. Number 2, the hypotenuse is the diameter. That's the H? Yep, that's right. Let's skip this one for a second. For number 4, it says the size of angle O can be learned if we know the diameter of the circle. Well, if I knew the length of this, I wouldn't be able to find this missing angle, because when we find missing angles, we have to know two sides. We don't know two sides, so that doesn't really help us. So right away we know that number 1 and 4 are not right. So anything with 1 or 4 is not correct. So that's not right, that's not right, and that's not right. So right away we figured out the answer to B. And it's a good thing that you can remove questions, because this one's not really worded that well. They say the adjacent side is the long side of triangle ABC. And when you read this, you're like, okay, this is the adjacent side. This isn't the longest side. This is the longest side. So how can this be true? It's just the way they're wording it. When you learn about a Pythagorean theorem, we know that this is the hypotenuse. There's another way of wording these shorter sides. One of the two shorter sides is going to be longer, and that's what they mean here. And I don't really like the way they word this here, because you think long leg is the hypotenuse, because that's the longest side. But really what they mean is that out of these two here, which is the longer one, this one is the longer one. So that is sort of true. So even if you didn't figure that out, you would have been able to solve it, because that's the only one that was left.